Hey, welcome back, guys. John Maggio here with Hawk Marketing Services, and today I want to talk to you about building traffic versus buying traffic. And specifically, we're going to talk today about buying traffic. You have a website, you just got your website, now what? Or more like, so what? I mean, there's hundreds of millions of other websites out there. And just because you have a website doesn't mean people are going to be stomping down your door, reading your content, and calling your phone. There's only two ways to get people to your website. You can either build the traffic via content and via your email list, and we've talked about that in other presentations, or you can buy your traffic. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about buying traffic, when to use it, where it makes sense, and a few tips and tricks on how to maximize the benefit. So, first and foremost, we really recommend that you use social media, especially if you have a smaller budget. And we do like Facebook, and we like boosting Facebook posts, and we like creating Facebook ads. But in all occasions at Hawk Marketing Services, we recommend that every social media post links back to a landing page of yours on your website. The way that Facebook works typically is people scroll. Like, they keep scrolling, they keep scrolling, they keep scrolling, and they might hit like, and then keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and they might even give you a hug and keep scrolling. What we need them to do is when they hit that picture, we need them to leave Facebook and go to your website. That way we can at least get their attention for a few seconds. I mean, you've read the previous chapters about getting your website ready. You've got calls to action on the top right-hand corners of all your pages. You've got quick contact forms. You've tested your conversion rate. You know your website works. So we really need to focus on getting people off of social media and directly into your website so that we can start calculating how many people are converting, meaning actually making phone calls and signing up with services. Facebook, unfortunately, has been a bold-faced liar in the past. What they did initially with a lot of us is they encouraged us to gather likes and build up our business pages. And as soon as they went public a few years ago, all of a sudden they throttled back as much exposure that you could get from the people that have already liked or subscribed to your page. They actually, when you post on your page, they only show 5 to 10% of the people that like your page, that post, versus your personal platform or your personal profile. It gets a lot more exposure. So the only way to really use your Facebook profile is to pay. You have to pay to play and get more people to your sales funnel. I'm going to show you an example real quick. Many of us all know and love Taj Jacobs. So I'm going to spotlight his website here and his Facebook for a few minutes. So here we have Taj's company, Reticulous Cleaning. And he makes a lot of great content, guys. Videos, that's a great little video of a car that he just cleaned. But you see, there's no likes at all in this one. That's amazing. I mean, that's a great video. Great before and afters, only one like. Great before and afters, not very much action here at all. And probably he's the one that shared that photo to his personal profile. This is a good example of not paying, but posting to your business page. Nothing happens unless you pay. Now, I'm not knocking on Taj at all, because Taj has done a fantastic job following my advice and maximizing the benefit of his social media personal profile. We'll switch over real quick to Taj's personal profile, where you can see he still has his logo there, still has his professional headshot on his personal profile, and shares moments spending time with his son. Now, this was just posted a couple days ago, 3 days ago, and he has 178 likes, 32 comments. A stark contrast from the performance of his professional page. You can see Taj sharing a few things that he likes, but more and more, he's 31 people liking this, 67 people liking. And a lot of it is very business driven and very, what would you say, personal branding. He's
Personal development too.
Yeah, personal development. He is sharing his journey with you as to his, building his company. 129 likes. I mean, you guys can clearly see now that using your personal profile to build your brand is much more engaging than using your professional page and not paying. Now, I'm not saying you can't get any traction on your professional page, but unless you spend $1, it's not happening. And that's about how much it actually costs, guys. It's $1 a day minimum spend.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So this is something I've been struggling with, and you do a great job of this, with your building your brand. So we all probably have personal Facebook pages, right? So I consider my personal Facebook page my friends and family, right? Pictures of my kids and all that. And then, when I'm networking in business associates, it feels different. So what are your thoughts and what has worked best for you, or am I jumping ahead?
You're not jumping ahead, and a lot of people struggle with this in their own lives, and they struggle with this in their head. You say personal profile, and all of a sudden that's endearing words, and a lot of times people want to be they relate personal and private with those two words correlating a lot together. If it's my personal stuff, it needs to be private. If you don't want anybody to see your kids, don't ever post any pictures of your kids, because whether your friends and family are supposed to see it, I think we both know that Google picks up a lot of the content. And if I really wanted to look hard and really kind of see into your life, I could probably find some stuff. So it really is no privacy. It's the imaginary veil that we put over our own eyes. So I think a lot of people have given me rebuttals saying, well, that's my personal profile, or I don't use Facebook. Focus on building your Facebook friends. Think about them as potential clients, potential. Yeah. You just have to switch the words around. Get the word personal profile out of your mind and get the word, personal branding in your mind. You want that personal branding to be very public, even though you don't want that personal profile, personal family information. You don't want that to be very public. So you just have to make a little switch and change what you're posting and change who your friends are and change why you're using the social media platform. As entrepreneurs, and salespeople, we have to maximize every platform we can to get the most out of it for our profession. If we had 9-to-5s and we could punch a clock, we would have that luxury of, keeping our Facebook all nice and tidy and everything like that. But because we've chosen this profession, we've got to be out there, and we can't ignore that Taj is getting 150 likes on simple photographs for personal branding versus 2 and 3 likes of these really great videos that he's putting out. So, I mean, we just can't ignore that potential, I think, is what I'm trying to say. We went over the restrictions. We went over that we need to use our personal profile. Let's talk about boosting really quick. Don't be afraid to hit the boost button. The good news is you get to pick all these great things. You get to use keywords to target who you want to. You get to choose the age. You get to choose boys or girls. And the great news about it is you get to see the results, right? And then you go, and when you do the next one, you can tune it. You can tweak a little bit. If you see that not a lot of people interacted in the 55 plus range, you can trim down that age group to only show it to people up to 55, for an example. So there's lots of options, but Facebook is attempting to make it easier and easier every day. There's a lot of automated options now when you go to boost a post. For example, you can allow Facebook to choose whether it goes to your website, or they chat with you, or they book an appointment. You can allow Facebook to choose some demographics based on your content. You can allow Facebook to choose a lot of recommendations on the budget, for example. You can use suggestions when you're building your target demographic list. with the keywords. So they're trying to make it very, very easy. The minimum is $1 a day. The truth is Facebook is price gouging and undercutting Google by 90% plus in many, many cases. The same cost per click is a lot cheaper on Facebook than it is on Google, but the mindset is completely different. And that's why Google is still a huge part of this discussion. So I'm not denouncing Google. I'm just telling you what Facebook is trying to do right now. And we're going to talk about Google here in a second. Here's a great thing that you can pick when you're boosting on Facebook: business owners only. You can also pick people who are the page administrators only. So if you figure if they're the page administrator, they must be somebody who can answer questions and make decisions. So you can really zero in then on decision makers on Facebook using the boost. I wanted to show you guys real quick of an example of a boost. So here is Deshays Electric. This is an article that Kat Harvey wrote for Hawk Marketing. Kat Harvey writes almost all of our articles. Should you get a backup generator for your home? As you know, we had a couple big hurricanes come up the coast. We put that out. And again, not a very long post. We do want some SEO out of this, but the main focus is to have a nice quick article that we can use on social media. So what we did is we copy and pasted that link over to Facebook, and it automatically brought up this photo, and we went ahead and boosted it. Now, what we're doing here is we're boosting these posts for $50 for 2 weeks. A lot of people ask, and you've heard a lot of people ask, how many times a day should I post on social media? And then I ask you back, well, if I've got 3 or 4 boosted posts running for 2-week clips, aren't I posting every single day because I'm reaching new people and I'm getting a lot of new likes? And more people are going to my website. So I think the answer to how many times you should be posting on social media a day, especially when it comes to your business profile page, is boost posts. And don't worry about don't post every day. Post wisely by spending money behind each post and directing the people to go right back to your website. If we click on this post, it goes right back to his website. We can track that, see how many people did click on it from 2 sides. I'm going to show you a little something here on the Facebook side. So $50, 162 clicks. That's about 30 cents a click. So again, it was great timing. The hurricanes were coming up the coast. Now's the time to, put $50 down on the generator ad. But we got 162 people to the website for $50. The reach was really great. Actually, it says 62 cents per click right there. Over here, we can see the age groups that interacted. Next time we run this, we probably might not do the 25 to 34 if you see how few people interacted there. And it was a good mix of men and women, but it looked like as age increased, more women also interacted. So these are just some insights that you can do. And immediately, in order for me to make it even cheaper for more people to get there, first I have to call another hurricane in. And second, I can reduce the age group and make it more focused on people that are really interacting with it. So that's what we really want people to do, is we really want people to go to the website and call that top right-hand corner phone number to, fill out this quick contact form. And of course, as you know, John Maggio, Hawk Marketing Services, always has a call tracking line up on the top right-hand corner. And so Reach Local uses it too, to make sure that these people are actually calling and what they're actually saying on the phone call. Are they signing up? Are they unqualified? Are they qualified? Because that's where the marketing dollars matter. Who's calling? How many contact forms are you getting? We talked about Facebook a little bit. We've talked about boosting. We've talked about using our personal profile, especially when we're not spending money. Now I want to talk about Google a little bit, because Google is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. 49% of searches on Google never leave Google. They actually, because Google is using their platform to use all the information you need. If you type in Hawk Marketing Services, they've got my phone number, all my reviews, a map to my house. I mean, what else do you need? You know, so a lot of people only are looking for that information and they don't go to the actual homepage. And direct searches, meaning people directly looking for you, more and more often never leave the Google platform. So that is again why Google is so, so important. First of all, the only way to be actually number one on the first page of Google is through a Google ad. That's why companies like Reach Local are so important, because they've been working with Google since the beginning, and they're one of the highest, if not the highest, ads buyers from Google in the world. What's really great about Reach Local, and again, Steve, glad that you're here, but I like Reach Local and I like working with Reach Local because Reach Local can quickly give you the facts before you make a decision. They already know through data how much it's going to cost you to click, how much it's going to cost, and what the average person is going to convert. So how much is a phone call going to cost? And then you get to determine how many phone calls it costs for you to actually get an appointment booked or land a sale. So using these metrics, you can make decisions on whether or not this will be effective or not, because you can see exactly how much it's going to cost you to land the deal. Let me give you an example. Very popular restaurant and catering company in Annapolis, Maryland. They do a lot of weddings. So when we look at their revenue for catering, we were able to ascertain that they did $3,000 was their average catering job, $3,000. We went to Reach Local and we asked Reach Local for some options. And with that data, we were able to determine that it would cost approximately $50 for the phone to ring one time. Well, I looked to the salesperson and I said, how many phone calls do you think it's going to take you? She says, I could land almost every one. I said, wait, these are strangers, you know, so let's say you can land 1 out of 5, meaning for every 5 phone calls, you can get a catering job. We talked again, $50 a phone call. Now it's going to take 5. So that's $250, right? Well, these guys are doing an average of $3,000 a catering job. That's less than 10% on marketing spend. They should sign up immediately and they should spend even more money, because that is a really great deal, under 10%. Now, let's take another company right down the street. They have a restaurant, they do catering, but their price point's not the same. Their average ticket, their average catering job is $750. Well, I don't know about any of you, but I can't spend 33% of the revenue on marketing. So it doesn't work in that situation. They can't spend $250 to get a $750 deal. It's too much money out of pocket to land the deal. Now, a lot of business owners don't even know these metrics. That's why they die a slow death of 1,000 needles. But right, Ruth? Yeah, I saw your face. A lot of these companies don't know these metrics, and you can really take a long time to go out of business, $5 and $10 at a time. That's how slow the leak can be. So it's really important, A, to have properly priced sales, but B, go to companies like Reach Local, where you can look at the metrics ahead of time and decide whether it's going to be a good fit. And a lot of times, and more often than not, if you're providing good services and great prices, the numbers and the metrics are going to match up to the point where you're going to want to spend more money because the performance is doing so good. $250 a phone call sounds like a lot of money, right? Right. So let me be frank and open with you guys. I went and spent a lot of time and energy on the Success with Local Marketing Summit. The ticket price was $300, right? How much could I afford to spend $250 just to get one sale? I can't. It's ridiculous. The numbers don't work. But I changed my business model. Now I go for clients that instead of paying me one time, they pay me a whole bunch of times. Maybe you don't have that opportunity where you can get a client to pay you often, but maybe you're like Faith Burns and you can get relationships built up and people keep referring you and using you over and over again. Same thing. These, how I'd say, residual income strategies play a lot better than one-off strategies. And when I sell a marketing agreement for a year and the person's paying me $1,000 a month, well, that makes sense. I can spend $250. As a matter of fact, I could probably spend a little bit more in order to get that $12,000 income for the whole year guaranteed. That's why we can't just think about the one-time situations. We've got to think about a strategy that's going to sustain us long-term. And if $250 does sound expensive, maybe think about changing the revenue strategy that you guys are having, because most people are paying more than that to get an opportunity in the service industry and a lot of these other industries, the business to consumer, the home improvement. They're paying $300 to $500 for the opportunities. And that's why so often they have that hard sell mentality the first time they come out there, because they've already spent a lot of money getting there. So even though Google is a little bit more expensive, they are certainly giving us a lot more data. And let me tell you a little bit, one more thing about a Google click versus a Facebook click. My phone's going off, of course, because I'm talking about.
2006 movie directed by Frank Karachi, starring Adam Sandler, Kate Beckinsale.
They're always listening. That's what I like about Google. No, I'm just kidding. No. Google click versus a Facebook click. We talked about how cheap it was to get a Facebook click, but the conversation's different, right? You notice how I had to put a blog post up asking a question. Should I do this? Let's go over the benefits. Something very casual and informative and educational. The conversion rate's going to be less because more people are just going to be looking for information than actual people looking to buy a generator. Now, that versus Google. When you're on Google, the power's already out. You're like, I need a generator right now, right? So the wallet's out, the spending decisions are ready to happen. Typically, they're looking for something right now to spend on, so when you are spending more money on that pay-per-click through Google, the chances are you're spending it on somebody that wants to buy right now. When you're spending money on the boost on social media, you are going to get some conversions, but you're more likely spending money on somebody that might buy later. That's why it's always very, very important to get people away from social media and onto your website so that you can capture their lead, capture their information, maybe get them to ask you a question, anything so that you can follow up with them later. Speaking of following up with them later, that's another discussion, but we're using the Google Pixel lately and creating lookalike audiences based on the people who are reading these articles. And we're creating hyper-focused audiences to create those buy now ads on Facebook. So a little bit more layers to that onion, and we'll get into that later, guys. But I hope I've given you a little bit of information. To recap, if you're not going to spend money on your business profile, don't spend a lot of time on it. Spend that time on your personal profile. Switch the mindset to, I'm a salesperson, I'm in business, and I need to maximize on this personal profile versus keeping it private. When you do spend money, look at the results on Facebook, boost those posts. It's easy to do. And don't forget about Google. I do recommend that if you're going to spend on pay-per-click, spend. It's not something that you hold back on. The budgets, in my belief, the budgets need to be $1,000 plus a month. And a lot of times you'll see in competitive markets, they need to be much greater. The good news is that you can count on the results with the math. And that Google and Steve from Reach Local will be able to give you data based on people doing the same thing all over the country and their success stories. Thank you all very much for your interaction today and listening. I really appreciate you taking the time today, guys. And with that, I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you all very much for coming out, and I'm very excited to book some speakers in the future. So I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you all.